Hello. I want to take about 3 or 4 minutes, hopefully it's not longer than that, just to create a very quick video. I've had a lot of people asking me, how do you automate trading? I just want to show you. Install Visual Studio. You're going to create a new project. I mean, some of this is you're going to have to learn over time. All right, but create a new project. I use Windows Forms app. You can download a lot of different stuff. You can make SharePoint for online stuff, apps for your phone, web pages, but I use Visual Basic and Web Forms app. So it's a actual program. I'm just going to name this Windows App 1. I really don't care about the name. So we're just going to make something really quickly here. So we created a new project. Here it is, and here's the form. So if I play this right now, see the start button? It allows you to see what the program does. So if I play it right now, all it is an empty program form. Boom! There it is. Look, there's nothing on it, but it's a program. So let's put a button here, and I'm sorry, a label there, and let's change the text on that label to "Press Me." Now over time you'll be able to learn many different things, how to change background colors. I can bold, I can take that up to 16 font, you see, and you can change so much stuff. Let's go, just to give you examples here, back color. I can change the back color of the label. You know, you can change the back color of the form. You can change the title at the top of the form. You can change the icon that shows in the bottom of the screen, or your start menu down here when it's open. I mean, you can do anything. It's a program. So let's add a button here, and we'll call it button 1. I don't care. I'm going to double click. So this is the actual code. When I press that button, this says private sub. So a sub is a subroutine. This sub handles the click of button 1. You can call it whatever you want. It gives it an automatic name. These are stuff you can use. The sender as object is the button. The E is the event, and this is stuff you can learn later. You don't need it right now. So what we'll do is we'll just go message box. My first program. So this is going to show a message box saying my first program. And then we can do something else. Let's go dim. This is how you define variables. Dim I as integer. So I is an integer. I equals 0. And then we'll go do until I equals 10. So it's going to do the following code, and see the loop at the bottom? Any code in between here it's going to do as long as I is less than 10. So we go I equals I plus 1. Okay? So what this does is every time it loops through, it's going to add 1 to I. It takes I and it adds 1 to it. So if you didn't include this code and you ran this program, I would always equal 0. It would never get up to 10, so it would just continue in a loop forever. And there's some instances where you want that, mostly in industrial PLC applications, but in our applications you usually don't want that. So I want it to loop through. Now we'll say if I equals 2, then an end if. So only when I equals 2 it'll run the code in between here. And let's go another message box. Message box. For this one we're just going to say our variable I equals, and I could say 2 because I know it'll be 2 at that time, but what I can also do is go equals. So that's a string. It's just going to show this string text, right? Our variable I equals. And then I can, outside the quotations, put and I. So it'll show our variable I equals and I. Alright, so let's start this and see what happens, okay? So I start this. Press me. I'll press the button. my first program. Now what's going to happen? It's going to run through the code, I equals 0. It's going to run through this 10 times. I equals 1, I equals 2, I equals 3, I equals 4, I equals 5. So it'll do it until I equals 10, and then it'll stop. Well, when I equals 2, watch what happens here. Our variable I equals 2. I equals and I equals 2. And you do this enough, put them all together, and you start building actual programs. Alright? So you can have menus that change. And this is still a program in work, but I'll show you what I have. I can have this. This is my menu bar. I can shrink my menu by moving when I press the button. I have tools. I can bring up other forms. Alright, I can bring up settings. Calculator, it brings this up. The settings for my calculator. I have this little button over here to close it again. See that? And every time, and the buttons move when I press things. Anyway, that's a little introduction. It will take you 6 or 12 months. I gave you some very basic code to get started. Just play around with it for 6 months. This is Visual Studio from Microsoft. It's a free program, and you can do an amazing amount of stuff. I mean, look at all this code. Look at all this. This is how I automate my orders. You end up with thousands of lines of code, timers that run stuff, more code. This is changing background colors. It's endless what you can do. All right, have a good one.